At SafetyQuip, we're often asked to provide respirators for people working around particulate contaminants in their workplace. Some of those particulate contaminants may be silica or asbestos particles. Now those particles are very small, they're considered to be toxic particles. I'm going to run through some of the common respiratory products on the Australian market that we're often asked about. This product here, this is what we call a disposable P2 respirator. So it's for dust or particles. This one's the 3M Aurora 9322A+ disposable respirator, very popular product. This one happens to have an exhalation valve on the front. That just makes it a bit easier for exhaled air to escape, so the product is a bit more comfortable to wear than an unvalved product. Now, I wouldn't normally recommend a disposable respirator for people working around toxic particles like asbestos or silica. There's an increased risk of leakage around the face seal. They don't seal quite as well as a reusable respirator. So a reusable respirator looks like this. So it still covers the nose and the mouth. The filters tend to be replaceable. So they can be removed and replaced when necessary. This one comes in a kit. This is the 3M 6225 P2 dust and particle respirator kit. If you're dealing with silica or asbestos particles that are very fine, that style of P2 particulate filter is a fibrous surface on it. So if you bang that as you're removing the respirator, there's a chance the particles can fall off and you inhale them after you've removed the respirator. So it's not necessarily the greatest for toxic particles. However, the next one along, we've got another kit that's still a half-face respirator, but there's a different style of particulate filter on it. So this one here, this is a kit that is termed the Asbestos, Silica and Dust Respirator Kit. It's another 3M product. It's the 7535 P2/P3 respirator kit. Now, the difference with this kit compared to the first reusable kit is the mask itself is made of silicone, so it's a softer product. It seals on the face very well. It's an excellent face seal. It's very comfortable to wear if you have to wear it for a long period of time. I like the exhalation valve on this one. So the exhalation valve is actually tucked up under here. So the air that comes out of this respirator is directed down and away from the wearer. So that has the advantage of reduced fogging of eye protection. So if the air is pushed down and away, there's less chance of it fogging up safety glasses, for example, compared to a respirator that may have an exhalation valve that goes straight out. You know, the air goes straight out and maybe up towards the eyes. What I like about that filter though is you'll see the surface of the exterior is more of a solid surface. The air comes in around the back. So this one's great for highly dusty workplaces. So where there's lots of particulates, the air comes around the back and the particles tend to be trapped within the filter. So there's less chance of banging that filter and particles being released and inhaled as you're removing the respirator. They can be wiped down before removal of the respirator from the wearer. So that's an excellent kit for asbestos and silica use and for general dust as well. The next one up from that is what we call a full face respirator. So this product here, a full face respirator covers not only the nose and the mouth, but it covers the eyes as well. And what I like about a full face respirator is there's effectively a double seal in the respirator. So you can see there's an outer seal right around the edge, but there's also what appears to be a half face respirator inside. So it's a double seal. So that provides excellent protection. The fit test results from full face respirators are exceptional. Again, you can see this particular kit comes with the same filter that was on the half face respirator a moment ago. So what we're seeing on the head there is this kit here. So this is also an asbestos, silica and dust respirator kit. This is the 6835 P2 respirator kit. Now, you'll notice this one, just to confuse everyone, the P3 filter, this is a P3 filter, right? However, we're not allowed to call that a P3 filter when it's on a half-face respirator. It's to do with the seal rate of the respirator itself. So it gets downgraded to a P2 filter. So that's a lower filter than a P3. It's exactly the same filter. When we put it on the full face mask, we're allowed to call it a P3. Now, moving up from there, we move into the category of powered air respirators. So I'm going to move over this way. This product here is what we call a powered air purifying respirator, or PAPR for short. This one's the 3M VersaFlow. Now, this product has a waste belt with a blower and a filter that's around the back of my victim here. So right around here, it's a bit obscured. There's a filter on the bottom, so that filters the air. There's a motor here. The air goes up through the hose into the facepiece, and there's an excellent level of protection provided by a PAPR. That's often a suitable product too for somebody that has facial hair. Somebody with a beard can often contain their beard within that product, and you know, shaving's not necessarily required. All those respirators to start with, the disposables and the reusable ones, they all require the wearer to be clean shaven for them to have an effective face shield. So there are a handful of common respiratory products on the Australian market for people working around particle contaminants, particularly the last few related to asbestos and silica. There seems to be so many questions about particularly silica at the moment. Feel free to engage with the local SafetyQuip crew to talk through the contaminants that you have in your workplace and what the specific respirator options are if you need to wear respirators for your people at work. We'd love to assist.